I decided I want to have a little rant about teachers, because teachers are big fat liars, and I don't like that. Now, what do I mean when I say teachers lie? Well, the best example I can give is this. Has a teacher ever told you not to swing back in your chair? Have they then proceeded to tell you that they once had a student who swung back on their chair, smashed their head in, and ended up in hospital? Yeah, me too. In fact, I'm yet to find somebody who went to school and has not heard that story from a teacher. Now, as a young, innocent, and naive child, you might take their words to heart and start using your chair like a proper functioning member of society. Or you were like me and able to rub two brain cells together to figure out that your teacher is talking absolute horse. Like, I'm sorry, are you really trying to tell me that every single teacher has had a student that was hospitalized because they swung back on their chair? If that was really true, then dear God, there would be a national statistic about how many brain-related injuries happened due to swinging on your chair every year. It would be right up there next to fentanyl in most common causes for brain damage in teenagers. The government would be out here supergluing chairs to floors to protect the new generation of corrupt and mildly racist politicians from crippling head injuries. But is any of that happening? No, because they're just lying. Yeah, instead of asking you to just sit normally, they have this abnormal need to lie simply because they can. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how I came to the realization that teachers are pathological liars. I then forced my brain to think back to my mildly traumatic school days in order to uncover more times that teachers lied for no real reason. And dear God, did I find a lot, and I mean like a lot. Honestly, kids, adulthood changes you. You may doubt it now, but once you become an independent adult, you'll look back and realize how unbelievably, stupidly naive you were. Anyway, I'm gonna continue my rant now by taking you through some of the examples of the biggest lies teachers tell. You know, in order to help you protect yourself from their evil deceptions. Oh, and make sure to like and subscribe so we can share this video and make more people aware, you know, raising awareness and all that. Do it now. So first of all, I want you to think back to a time where you had to submit a test paper and then wait weeks to find out how badly you failed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single time you ask your teacher when you can expect the results back, they always give you a pretty similar answer. Yeah, soon. I have to mark the year 11 work first. Obviously, they're the priority. Yeah, they have to mark the year 11s first. I mean, that makes sense, you know? They have more important exams soon. You just don't question it at that age, do you? Because it makes sense. But then you yourself one day become a year 11, and you ask the same question. Hey, miss, when are we getting our test papers back? Patience, I have year 8 work to mark first. No, you don't, you lazy fuck. What do you mean you have year 8 work to mark first? What exams are they sitting anytime soon? The only important thing in a year 8's life is how long the queue to the cafeteria is. What are you prioritizing them for? It doesn't make any sense. And then I realized it doesn't make sense because I grew up and clocked on to the fact your goody two-shoes teacher is just a big fat lazy liar. You know when you don't do your homework because you're a big fat lazy waste of oxygen, so you make up some elaborate lie and mildly convincing one too, so that your teacher doesn't dish out any serious punishment. Yeah, you weren't the only one doing that in school. Your teacher was too. There was no year 8 work. There was no year 11 work. Your teacher is just lazy and didn't feel like doing it. Simple as that. But instead of simply saying they haven't done it yet, they have this strange, sadistic need to lie and just tell you that they have other work to do first. There's no need for that. You're the teacher. We're not gonna question it. Just tell us you haven't got around to doing it yet. But no, simply because they can, they lie. Why? Okay, another big lie teachers tell you, which you definitely believe, is that they don't have favorites. Actually, it's literally part of their training as teachers to tell you that they don't have favorites. And you, being the little naive baby that you are, believe them. I mean, sure, they're not meant to have favorites, technically, but trust me, they do. I mean, after all, they are still human, and it's natural for humans to form a good bond with someone that they like and kind of have negative feelings towards someone that they don't like. There's nothing they can do about feeling it, it's just that they're not allowed to show it and pretend like it doesn't exist for some reason. And honestly, as long as they treat everyone equally, I don't have a problem with them secretly having favorites. We all know as adults it is just unavoidable. But that doesn't change the fact that they are yet again lying. Now, this next one isn't really a lie, but it is a serious case of gaslighting, which pisses me off to no end. You will turn to whisper the most unbelievably quiet comment of all time to your friend, and then your teacher will hear it and act as if you've just insulted their entire bloodline. And it's normally around this time that they drop the
I stayed in school until 6 p.m. last night marking your papers, and you're behaving like this?
Right, first things first, Mr. Teacher. 6 p.m. is not late, okay? It's called a 9 to 5 for a reason. Staying 1 hour extra isn't anything special. Also, if you were up late marking our papers, then where the hell are they? Nowhere, because we both know damn well you were sat on your ass playing Clash Royale, scrolling through TikTok, and stuffing your face with cookies. Again, not really a lie, but like, stop gaslighting kids into thinking you're working harder than you are. You do work hard, but not that hard, okay? 6 p.m. is pretty damn normal. Another classic, and a favorite of mine, is when teachers lose their temper at a mildly annoying class and say something along the lines of,
I've been a teacher for 30 years, and I've never had to deal with a class as disrespectful and rude as you.
Okay, well, respectfully, shut up.
Don't lie.
First of all, I know for a fact you have said this at least once to every single class you've ever taught. I mean, you'd think we were plotting to kidnap their children or something. No, we just were having a laugh with our mates while doing your work, alright? What are you getting so pressed about? Also, I would have had them as a teacher for multiple years, and yet every single year, they would say this. So like, how have you been a teacher for 30 years for 3 consecutive years now? Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how it's done, because they're liars. Okay, viewer discretion is advised for this next one, because I know for a fact some of you have crippling PTSD from moments just like this. It's when you're doing something really difficult that you hate in class, but the teacher's like, it's okay, it's not gonna be on the test. It will. If they say it won't be on the test, it will. If they say it will be on the test, it probably won't. If they don't say anything, then just start revising the opposite subject to whatever you're doing, because best believe that science paper you have on Tuesday will have a giant 20-mark English essay plastered in the final page. Sorry, I'm getting myself in a state, but like, it really pisses me off. I mean, never in the history of humanity has a teacher ever been right about what's gonna be on the test. Never. I mean, half the time they literally make the test. What do you mean you don't know what's on it? I mean, I'll tell you how they don't know. Even though I can't prove it, I've decided it's because they're all sadistic, pathological liars. They get a kick out of lying simply because they can, because they know these poor little innocent kids will just believe anything they say without questioning it. It's bullshit. Yeah, they have to be psychotic liars. That's the only possible explanation. Now, the final thing I wanted to have a little rant about was when teachers make policies and decisions and justify them by saying things like this.
It's to prepare you for the real world.
Alright, first of all, yeah, as an adult who has now experienced the real world... What the hell do you know about the real world? You went to school, graduated, and then went back to school. You are quite possibly the least qualified person on planet Earth to be talking about the real world. Genuinely, honestly, you would get more insight from a crackhead than a teacher when it comes to their opinion on the real world. And more importantly, if you actually go out into the real world now, there are so many jobs that just couldn't give 2 sheep bollocks about what hex code your tie is. I mean, there are countless more examples of how teachers are just crazed, sadistic liars, but I think I've made my point very clear. If you're a student or an ex-student, then I'm sure you found this video very relatable. Actually, if you're a parent, you probably found it very relatable as well. And if you watched this video as a teacher, then dear God, I hope you took notes. Anyway, that being said, I'm gonna end it here because I've got to get back to studying to become a teacher. See ya.